And while this is the eve of yet another crucial set of primaries, with just 99 days to go until the midterm elections, we begin this evening's broadcast with major news in the still ongoing war on terror. President Biden made it official just a few hours ago.
On Saturday, at my direction, the United States successfully concluded an airstrike in Kabul, Afghanistan, that killed the emir of al-Qaeda, Ayman al-Zawahiri. After carefully considering the clear and convincing evidence of his location, I authorized a precision strike that would remove him from the battlefield once and for all. This mission was carefully planned, rigorously minimized the risk of harm to other civilians. We make it clear again tonight that no matter how long it takes, no matter where you hide, if you are a threat to our people, the United States will find you and take you out.
Al-Zawahiri was an Egyptian-born physician who founded the Egyptian Islamic Jihad. He formed an alliance with Osama bin Laden back in 1998. He was indicted for the simultaneous bombings of multiple U.S. embassies that year that killed more than 200 people, including 12 Americans. He was closely linked to the bombing of the USS Cole in October of 2000 and was believed to be one of the main architects of the attacks on September 11th. He became the leader of al-Qaeda after bin Laden was killed back in 2011 and has been on the FBI's most wanted terrorist list. The State Department once offered a reward of up to $25 million for help in his apprehension. Tonight, the FBI has updated that entry to deceased. As the Washington Post sums it up, it was al-Zawahiri's brains and blood-drenched hands that guided the world's most notorious terrorist movement. Our next guest says this move decapitates the group behind the horror of 9/11, and he would know. I want to bring in John Brennan, former CIA director and MSNBC senior national security and intelligence analyst, and retired four-star U.S. Army General Barry McCaffrey, a decorated combat veteran of Vietnam and a former battlefield commander in the Persian Gulf. John, how big of a win is this for the U.S. in terms of the war on terror?
Well, it's a very big win for a variety of reasons. One is that it has taken out the leader of al-Qaeda. This is an individual, Zawahiri, who has been involved in terrorist activities for the past 40 years. And then he boldly relocated from Pakistan to Afghanistan's capital, Kabul. And it demonstrates the reach of American counterterrorism capabilities and our intelligence collection capabilities, that we were able to find Zawahiri in Kabul and take this action, as President Biden said, with meticulous planning and with careful regard for preventing any type of civilian casualties. So I do think it demonstrates that we're going to not relent in terms of our efforts to take out al-Qaeda leaders, as well as the leaders of other terrorist organizations that present a threat to U.S. interests and persons.
Let's talk about the precision here, General, because a senior administration official says this guy was taken out while he was standing on a balcony and his nearby family members were not hurt. How does this type of drone mission happen?
Well, look, as Director Brennan says, this is really a brilliant operation. It was a sum total of the intelligence community, the massive overhead satellite photography we can bring to bear on a problem. The signal's intelligent. I'm sure the CIA still maintains an agent network in country. And then finally, these drones, which will put eyes on a target for weeks at a time. And they'll track every car that visits and their license plates, and they'll put it all together and end up with a target folder that they can then take action on, which is what they promptly did. You know, I think we should remind ourselves, though, that when this major terrorist was killed, he was in the home of a senior Taliban official. It looks as if the Haqqani network was also sponsoring him, which may mean total complicity on the part of Pakistan. So we are over the horizon. We have a limited ability to influence actions on the ground. But this is a very encouraging step by a brilliant operation by the CIA.
So, John, what does that mean? The Taliban and al-Qaeda are merging, are working together?
Well, it's a very worrisome development that Zawahiri did relocate to Kabul. But as General McCaffrey said, the Haqqani network is, I think, an instrumental part of this story. Sirajuddin Haqqani, who's the head of the Haqqani Network, which is a criminal paramilitary drug organization along the Pak-Afghan border. He is the Minister of Interior of the Afghan government. He is closely aligned with a lot of these terrorist organizations. He himself has blood on his hands and carried out a number of operations against U.S. targets in Afghanistan as well as against the Afghan government. So it's unsurprising in many respects that these longstanding ties between the Haqqani Network and al-Qaeda are now resurrecting in the form of Zawahiri coming into Afghanistan. And this is something that I think we have to get to the bottom of. And as General McCaffrey said, I think the Pakistani role in this also is crucial. Did Zawahiri move across that border with either the knowledge or the support of the Pakistani ISI, which is their intelligence organization, because of their deep-rooted ties to the Haqqanis?
But, General, part of the deal when the United States withdrew from Afghanistan a year ago was a pledge to not allow terrorist groups to operate within their territory. Given that and what we just learned, how's the U.S. supposed to respond?
Well, I think we need to recognize Afghanistan as an utter disaster. Their military and governmental entity came apart as we withdrew from Afghanistan. It's a big difference between having 4,000 people in a U.S. embassy in Kabul and having no overt American presence there. Our leverage is limited. Having said that, I think one of the conclusions we need to draw from this is the poor Afghan people who are now under the control of the Taliban. The position of girls and women is now back to near slavery conditions. Their starvation is imminent. And yet, despite this, the Taliban have embraced a terrorist overt threat to the United States and our allies. So we need diplomatic engagement with these people. Somehow, we need to moderate their overt hatred of the United States and the danger they pose to our military and our civilian population.
John, this was carried out, though, by the CIA, not the military. Talk about the significance of that to our civilian audience.
Well, President Biden said that the U.S. carried out this strike. He didn't name the organization that did it. But I must say, having worked at CIA for many, many years, including as its director, the CIA, along with the National Security Agency, the NSA, work very closely on these counterterrorism operations, as well as with the military. And as General McCaffrey said, these platforms, the Predators, the drones, they're primarily intelligence collection platforms. They collect full motion video, they collect technical signals, and then they're used to carry out these very precise strikes. Within inches, they're laser guided. And so over the course of the last 15 years or so, there has been the technology that has been developed on the missiles, the platforms themselves, that really allow these exquisite operations to take place. Despite the fact that we don't have a presence on the ground in Afghanistan, President Biden was true to his word that we withdrew our troops, but we're still going to have the capability to detect these threats and to take action when appropriate, and we did this past weekend.
Well, even if al-Qaeda is decapitated, I can't imagine they're just going to take this and move on. General, what should we be looking out next from them?
Well, I think there's always been a reaction that says, look, it's like mowing the grass and you kill one of them and another one pops up and replaces them. But there's no question that we put these terrorist organizations into a real panic when we eliminate their key people. Particularly when we have an opportunity then to exploit the outcome of it if we have people on the ground and can seize their codes and telephones, et cetera. So this is a blow to al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda has been severely limited in its capability anyway during the past 20 years, both by the CIA and overt Tier 1 military counterterrorism operations. We'll continue to do that. There's been some spectacular successes by both the military and the agency in Syria in recent months. So I think the Biden administration done an excellent job in staying focused on what we've got to do, which is when we see these targets come up, eliminate them or ask our allies to take care of it. So it's a good day for the national security of the United States.
Well, the president said, if you are a threat to our people, the U.S. is going to find you. And we did. John Brennan, General McCaffrey, thank you both for joining us tonight. I appreciate it.